This is the West Michigan Sports Show, presented by the United States Air Force. Now, here's your host, Brandon Wirth.
It's another edition of the West Michigan Sports Show here on News Radio WBRN. Brandon Wirth joining you here as always here on this Saturday. Have unfortunate news for you here. It is Friday as I'm recording this, so the streak of Saturdays has been broken, but we have a great show for you guys. Hopefully you can forgive me. I'll be sure to get all the Friday scores that might have been missed from last night as we go through the local sports scoreboard. We'll get to those here on next week's show and recap them for you guys as well. As you can follow along, if you're following basketball especially, and how the standings movement are, be sure to follow Big Rapids Daily News, Facebook, Instagram, and as well as X/Twitter. You can follow along. We'll be posting those as the season continues on, as well as all of our broadcasts for Cardinal basketball. So you can check that out as well, as you can get notifications on this show when it is published as well. If you want to come back on WBRN.com, listen to it later. If you missed it live on air, you can find all of that stuff as well following us on social media. Also, local news and sports. I mean, you can got all the coverage you need. All you got to go, WBRN.com, and follow us, Big Rapids Daily News, on Instagram, Facebook, and X. You won't miss out on anything. We got a great show for you here today. A couple of Cardinals have committed to playing at the next level. We'll highlight both of those, as well as I had the chance to sit down with one of them last week, Olivia Malloy, who's a track standout at Big Rapids. She decided she's going to stay home here in Big Rapids and attend Ferris State University and compete for their track and field program, and how that was all started by a childhood dream established from watching outside of her childhood home window. Super cool story. Can't wait for you guys to listen to that. We'll get you that here in just a moment, as well as we'll finish out with the local sports scoreboard, all of the highlights from the last couple competitions and more, as well as how the standings shaking up, especially in basketball, and as well what teams are starting to pick it up on the wrestling mat. We'll get into all of that here in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to thank those that support this podcast. Those include, obviously, the United States Air Force as the primary sponsor of this show. Other local sports supporters include Johnson's Automotive, the Schuberg Insurance Agency, Quality Car and Truck Repair, Alter Care Big Rapids, Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids, Motor the Mecosta Osceola Transit Authority, and the Mecosta Osceola Career Center. Thank you all for your support to make the West Michigan Sports Show possible. But without further ado, let's waste no more time. We'll send it to the interview room where I sat down with current Cardinal track star and future Bulldog track star, Olivia Malloy. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us. First off, congratulations for becoming a Bulldog. I guess the basic question, I'm sure everybody wants to know, what made you decide to stay here at Ferris State in your hometown and run for the Bulldogs?
Well, I throughout freshman year, I told myself I'm not gonna stay in Big Rapids. But I had the opportunity to visit Ferris. And as soon as I stepped on the campus, it was like I wasn't even in Big Rapids anymore. It was an amazing experience. The team was amazing. The coaches were great, super sweet, and the facility's amazing. All the athletic facilities are great. And the people I visited with were amazing too. And some of those people also committed, and I'm super excited to have them on my team as well.
Absolutely. And for you, especially running really your specialty sport, but you obviously run year round with indoor and outdoor. When it came down to choosing running, was there any question that was something you wanted to do at college, or did you at any point consider just being a student, or was it always, I want to be a collegiate athlete, I want to compete at the highest level after high school?
Well, I started running when I was like elementary, and I'd always watch because I ran in Big Rapids, so I would watch like the Ferris runners run outside like for cross country and stuff, and I would always hear about the track programs from Central, Ferris, like all around Grand Valley. And I'd say like middle school, I was like, I want to run college track. So ever since middle school, I've worked hard to get where I am today, and that was always been my goal, is to run college track.
Cool. Very cool dream that now you got. the check on the checklist there. So that's really cool. Were there any other schools that you were considering in the process, or was it always down the tunnel, you see the light, there's a Bulldog right there at the center of it?
Well, I liked Grand Valley and Central, and then also Ferris. Those are my three schools that I had in mind. Since I was my dad works at Central, so he's always gotten me Central gear and wanted me to run for Central. But I had the opportunity to visit Ferris, so I took that opportunity and I loved it. So I chose Ferris just because of the campus and the people, and I just liked it more.
For sure. Yeah, very cool. Outside of running, obviously, there's a whole nother side of being a student athlete at the college level. What are you pursuing in school as far as right now? I'm sure that can obviously change, but just based on right now, what are you thinking you're going into as far as studies wise, and what you want to take from that for an occupation later on after your career?
So I am going into healthcare. I want to become a physician's assistant in dermatology. And then if I don't like that down the road, then I want to go into business and marketing, and I want to still go into pharmaceutical sales, so still kind of in the medical area.
Very cool. Sounds like you got a lot of backup plans, which is a great thing to have as well for a college student. Of course, many people change their careers halfway through, and it turns out great for them at the end of the day, too. It seems like you're really interested in healthcare. Is that something that was kind of always there, or was that something recently you discovered you wanted to get into?
I think it was freshman year I liked the idea of healthcare and everything, but freshman year I took anatomy with Miss Murray at Big Rapids, and it was my favorite class. It still is my favorite class. I just learned so much, and then we got into the skin section of the chapter, and that I was so intrigued in it, and I loved it. So that caught my eye. So ever since then, I've just wanted to go into the dermatology, but I also like the idea of medical as well.
Very cool. And obviously you've had an incredible high school career. Obviously that's not over yet, obviously with outdoor coming up here in the spring as well, finishing out your days as a Cardinal, but especially for you in kind of that you could say middle to shorter distance categories in track. Obviously, you're a 400 specialist. That's certainly where it seems like you make a lot of the success that you do. When it comes to those type of races, as well as complementing cross country in the fall, what are some of those things for you that really make you aspire to run those races? And especially for you looking forward into the spring, what are you looking forward to time wise, and how your season's going to go?
So ever since freshman year, my goal has been to beat the school record, which is a 58. It was ran by Sarah Montgomery. She actually was a Bulldog. She went to college at Ferris.
Yes.
But it's just always been a 58. So this year, my goal is to run that. My PR right now is a 101. I've been running indoor coming into the spring season, and I just recently ran a 102. So hopefully, I think that's a good sign because it's closer to my PR, and that's in the winter. So my goal is to have either 58 or faster than that. So I'm doing everything I can to train for that, and hopefully I get that.
Awesome. Yeah, we're certainly rooting the best of luck for you. As far as being a Cardinal now, transitioning to a Bulldog, there's many that have now went into this path as far as former Bulldogs running now, or former Cardinals now running with the Bulldogs. Ben Knuth, who's on the roster already this year. You had Dan Hardesty, Casey Bowman, a couple guys that did that as well on the men's side. When it comes down to making that transition as far as going from Big Rapids to Ferris State, obviously not a huge transition location wise, but what are some of those things you're looking forward to as far as being close to home, but still being able to compete at the collegiate level and especially at the Division II level nonetheless?
Well, I obviously like how it's close to home because then I can see my family still. I always wanted to stay in the state of Michigan, but the fact that it's in Big Rapids is super nice because it's close to my family and friends. I also it's nice because my friends are in Big Rapids, so they can always come and visit me.
Don't go anywhere. More of the interview coming up after these messages here on WBRN. For sure. And you mentioned teachers. Obviously, you've had plenty of influential teachers along the way, and especially coaches as well. Many of them making great remarks to you at your signing yesterday. Just talk about some of those people that impacted you, especially not only in the classroom, but as well out running on the track or on the cross course.
Well, first off, my track coaches, Michelle Selzer and Michael Selzer, they've helped me since freshman year. I remember meeting them 8th grade year, and they were super excited to have me on the team. And every year we talk about my goals, and they always help me achieve my goals and get to where I am today. They've helped me get to where I am today. And it's really nice because they're so supporting. Like after, they're as excited as I am when I run my best. I also am very grateful for, like I said, Montgomery. Sarah Montgomery. She's helped me. She's given me tips for the 400 and what she did to get the 58. And then Mr. Yambrick, he's a math teacher at Big Rapids. He used to be a track coach for the Big Rapids Cardinals, and it's always nice talking to him because he always has so much information and wisdom with track and tips and tricks for how to run the 400. And he's always at the track meets volunteering, so it's always nice to talk to him after and him giving me a hard time for either if my form is messed up, or it's also super nice to hear it when I do good, and then he congratulates me for that too.
Absolutely. One last question for you, Olivia. Appreciate taking the time to chatting with us. Obviously, there's probably quite a few people out there that were in your shoes years ago that might have seen collegiate athletics taking place and dream to make it to that level. For those out there that want that dream, what would you, as one that is now officially committed and signed to a program and really kind of fulfill that dream, what would you tell some of these younger kids and the younger generation, some things that will help them get them there as well?
I would just say everything you do matters. So no matter what you do, either if it's practice or if you're like running indoor or at a meet or on athletic.net, your times are always being watched. Like coaches are always looking for athletes who are strong and determined, and just always whenever like off season, just give everything, whether it's your diet, lifting. And I'd say mindset is a really big thing with running or any sport, but especially running, just to always have a positive and uplifting mindset. When you tell yourself you're going to do good, you're going to do good. Like when I run the 400, I tell myself I'm going to run this time. And then my mind like trains my body to run that time, or is determined to run that time. So just to have a positive mindset and to never give up in yourself.
For sure. Thank you so much, Olivia. Once again, congratulations on now becoming a Bulldog, and we can't wait to root you on here in this final track season as a Cardinal. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Big thanks to Olivia for joining us here on the show. A new signee for Ferris State Track and Field coming up this fall as well. Another Cardinal that just committed only a couple days ago. You might have heard it on the newscast. Riley Venix, the captain quarterback of Big Rapids' district and conference championship football team, will be taking his talents to Midland as he has committed to Northwood University to play Division II football. Congratulations to them, as well as a lot of the other athletes that we will be hearing commitments from very soon. There's been rumors in the mix of a couple big ones, so we'll be sure to break those on the show for you as well. With that being said, it's time to take a look now at our local sports scoreboard, here from all of our recent matchups and games from this past week. We'll start back on January 26th. In boys basketball, Grant takes down Big Rapids in dramatic fashion. As we mentioned, I believe on last week's show, 68-63, the final score there. Central Montcalm gets a win over the Warriors at home as they beat Chip Hill 61-42. Tri-County takes down Lakeview at home 59-48. In boys action, Newaygo fights against the Vikings of Whitehall at home. They fall by 19, 66-47, your final score there, as well as Reed City outlast Moly Stanwood in dominant fashion, 62-29, the score there. And to finish out the boys slate from January 26 last Friday, White Cloud dominates Kent City at home, 68-39, your final score there. On the girls' side, Big Rapids falls to Grant 46-40 in an absolute thriller. The Cardinals almost complete an epic second-half comeback. Central Montcalm takes down Chip Hills to make it a full sweep, 49-15, your score there. Tri-County falls to Lakeview at home as the Wildcats continue their road tear this season, 44-32, the final score there. Reed City falls to Moly Stanwood in a thriller there in the Den up north in Reed City, 44-36, final score in that one, as well as Kent State takes down White Cloud on the road, 44-11. Eagles defense dominating there against the Indians. Now into this past week, January 29th is where we'll begin boys basketball. The Baldwin Panthers, led by Coach J.J. Eads, my former high school coach, as a matter of fact, takes down Chip Hills 68-43, your final score there, as well as Belding. The Black Knights defeat the Grant Tigers 69-52 in non-conference action. Central Montcalm beats Harrison at home 53-37, the score there. And Tri-County falls to Byron Center Zion Christian 54-41. Final score there from Howard City in an early slated game there at Tri-County. In girls action, Charlotte was up in the task against Central Montcalm, and they failed as the Hornets win 46-32, the final score there. Lakeview, in an absolute thriller, almost beats Merrill as Merrill comes out on top 32-31. Ravenna takes down White Cloud on the road in overtime, 31-28. These defensive score lines certainly becoming the MO in girls hoops this year. Feels like every week we've got a couple football scores here in the slate. And also, speaking of overtime games, Newaygo outlasts Whitehall in OT, 43-40. That score after the fifth frame. What a game that was. January 30th as well. Boy, we had some good games on deck for sure. Ada Forest Hills Eastern gets the best of Kent City, 68-35 there from Forest Hills, as well as Big Rapids makes a huge comeback and defeats Cedar Springs on the road in overtime, 54-48, the score there. Alma takes down Central Montcalm in dominating fashion, 75-39, your final score there. Newaygo outlasts Fruitport there from Muskegon, 50-47, your score from there, as well as Tri-County outlasts Hesperia for a road win against a former conference foe, 63-50. Holton and Lakeview squared off. It was the Wildcats beating the Red Devils 41-33, and Moly Stanwood battles Shelby to a thrilling basketball game. It's the Tigers of Shelby that take down the Mohawks 51-47 on the road. The Ravenna Bulldogs fell to the White Cloud Indians, who keep their winning streak going, 66-51. The Indians win that one. Reed City beats a district foe in Mason County Central 59-51. And as we go to the girls' side, Alma beats Central Montcalm 50-41 to complete a sweep there for the Panthers. Coopersville falls to the Grant Tigers at home, 47-32, win on the road for Grant. Moly Stanwood holds off Fremont in one of the best basketball games I've heard in this area over this year, 69-66, the final score. If you like scoring, you certainly would have loved to watch that basketball game, that's for sure. Cedar Springs holds off Tri-County 61-20 there in a little bit of regional action, as well as Kent City takes down Sparta 47-21, the score there. Lakeview and Holton squared off there in a battle of former silver CSAA teams, 39-33, the victors, Holton in that one. And to finish out, Reed City, Mason County Central. In girls action, it was Mason County Central. The Spartans on top of the Coyotes, 47-29 there in district action. To January 31st, a couple games there early on in the week that were makeups, including Newaygo, Reed City, a battle of two top teams in the CSAA boys standings, a very reputable matchup also on the girls' side as well. On the boys' side, it was Reed City continuing their winning ways, 64-42 on the road at Newaygo. And on the girls' side, it is the Coyotes getting a very thrilling win, 37-35 at Newaygo to make it a Coyote sweep there in Newaygo. Also saw some results as well there from the CSAA tries. Chippewa Hills, Reed City looking successful in their first CSAA tries this week there against Newaygo, as well as we saw a couple quads as well around the town. Big Rapids hosting one against Mount Pleasant, Traverse City, St. Francis, and Comstock Park. Don't have as much to report on that one as I learn more. Get to you guys there as well. As big shout out as well, Cadillac, Pine River, Reed City, battling in a little 131 meet. It was Cadillac on top of Reed City and Pine River in that one, but some great wrestling nonetheless being here in the area. That's the up-to-date we have here so far as we look at a couple of games to be on the lookout for this upcoming week. One that certainly a lot of eyes are going to be on. Whitehall hosting Big Rapids there on Monday. It's going to be a great basketball game. Can't wait for you guys to hear that coverage. Joe Nagy will have that with you there from Whitehall as of now. So that's going to be a really fun basketball game there. The Vikings, one of the best teams in all of Division II, as Big Rapids looks to try to take them down and upset them on the road. As well, in girls action coming up on February 6th. Very fun matchup. I think that's going to be slated on deck on the girls' side. Very interesting matchups coming up as well. Harrison will be hosting Chip Hills. That should be a very fun basketball game there on the girls' side. As well as later on in the week, we'll see Central Montcalm will be hosting Kent City. That's a game I'll be keeping my eye on as well. On the boys' side, that same matchup between the Hornets and Eagles will be intriguing as well. Be on the lookout. Team Districts Wrestling postseason is here. Quick, fast, in a hurry. So stay tuned for that. All the listings are on MHSA.com for team district information coming up. Who's wrestling where, what time, what place. You can find all that out there as well. We'll be sure to cover that here on next week's show with all the results for you. To be sure you don't miss out on next episode, be sure you subscribe if you listen in on podcast platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or WBRN.com. As well, be sure to bookmark Preset WBRN every week on Saturday at 3:30. Until next time, we will see you later. This has been the Local Sports Hour here on News Radio WBRN.